Hey everybody, we are live. Starting with the clapperboard today because we're streaming from my very geeky basement for a live stream all about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the premiere week. Hello, folks. My hope is that we'll be able to chat and discuss a whole range of different topics. This is a spoiler-free zone tonight. There are not going to be any spoilers about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If you haven't seen the film, then I want you to enjoy it when you go and see it in theaters. And if you have seen the film and you're here to chat about your experience of the premiere, then please keep the spoilers out of it. No sharing spoilers, no things like that. So please keep this a spoiler-free zone. But hey, folks, hey, people that are already here. It's good to have you on the live stream. Let's see who's here. So yeah, we've got Ecto Trip. Hello. I'm sorry that I missed you when you came down to the firehouse, but I know you had a chance to speak to Ecto Tech. Let's see who we've got here. Inside Media emailed us something. Okay. Make sure I know which email it went to. If it went to Nick at Ecto1NJ, then I probably won't have seen it, but Nick will have seen it. Okay, let's see. Who else have we got here on the live stream? We've got Jeremy Johnson. Okay, hey there. We've got Real But Fake. Who is saying hope that I was able to get some much needed rest after the day yesterday. Oh my gosh, if you joined the live stream or you watched the live stream that I did from the Ecto one on the way back from the premiere, I was so tired. And if you've ever driven in an original Miller Meteor car, an Ecto or anything like that, it's an old-fashioned engine. It's an old-fashioned engine which gives you a lot of fumes. And so I was tired and there were fumes coming out of the car and my eyes were hurting and I was just like, wow, what has even happened today? It was kind of like a crazy day. So yeah, okay. Oh, it was Nick. Okay, Inside Media said that Nick was the one that you spoke to or somebody spoke to. Okay, so Nick, yeah, keep in contact with Nick. I won't have seen it if it went to Nick, but Nick will take care of you. Okay, Jeremy's saying he loves the Ghostbusters animated series. Me too. Let's see what else we've got here. Sorry, just trying to scroll through this. Oh yeah, somebody's mentioning the pack. It is a Spirit Halloween pack, life size, with a few mods that I've made myself. We can talk about packs. I'm very happy to, you know me, I'm happy to talk about props. I'm happy to talk about packs as well as the movie. I can show you some of the stuff. I even threw some stuff behind me, some of the memorabilia and patches and stuff that people handed out to me. It was super fun to have that stuff. So Cameron says she's out of driving the Ecto 1. That is awesome. Thanks for mentioning you yesterday. No problem. Okay. And let's see. It is the life-size Proton pack. Yeah, a movie accurate too. Pretty close. How was my day? Sophia is asking. My day today was good. Because I got some sleep. My day yesterday, now that was a whole different thing. So I know some people started to put some questions. Oh, what's my favorite pack that I own? Well, actually, the pack that I'm most excited about is the pack that I have over here. Hang on a second, see if I can grab this for you guys. And see if the camera will still follow me. There we go. This is the pack that I'm building, which, hang on, I'm going to have to force the camera. I've got this this gimbal that's following my face, and I have to hold my hand up like this to stop it. But let me just see if I can show this to you guys. So this is the pack that I'm currently making. This is a 3D printed pack that I'm working on right now. And so, yeah, that's my favorite pack right now, even though it's not finished. But I really like the Spirit Halloween pack as well, the one that you can see behind me. Ecto Trip saying it's looking great. Yeah, it's getting there. What are the other questions? Hey, how is everyone tonight? I'm good. Other people answer PokeZ to tell them how you're doing. Okay, let's see. Sophia saying, are we going to the Ghostbusters place? Not tonight. I am in my geeky basement tonight, and this broadcast is the first ever one that I've done from my geeky basement. And when I say geeky, yeah, it's geeky. It's very, very geeky in here. There's a lot of Ghostbusters stuff. Again, if you want to see some of that later, I can show you. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Everything from Jurassic Park to Back to the Future, all out in the other part. I'm probably not going to show you that stuff tonight, but I will definitely. I'm definitely going to do a tour of that stuff at some point. Yeah, my kind of basement. It's my kind of basement too, real but fake. Yeah, you got to love a geeky basement. That is true. Okay, let's get to the questions. People asking me questions about the movie. So as you know, last night I went to the premiere of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Some of you may have gone there too. And if you weren't able to go there, as you know, I tried to take you there. I tried to get you there and give you the opportunity to get a bit of an experience about what was going on. And so, and I know people were so generous and with their enjoyment and kind of excitement around that. So it was super awesome for you guys to be able to come with me, and I'm grateful for the questions and grateful that I was able to do the live streams. Yeah, let's start talking about the movie. Let's start talking about the premiere experience. I've had a chance to sleep, and I'm not breathing in the fumes of the Ecto-1, and I'm alive now today. So let's talk about the movie. Spoiler free. Spoiler free. Okay, so there are a couple of questions that were already put into the post I put up earlier, and a couple of questions that are coming up in chat. And I'm going to try and keep an eye on the chat. And sometimes if it goes too fast for me, I miss stuff. So if for whatever reason I didn't see your comment or you think that I've forgotten it, please pop it in again. I will not mind you doing that. So premiere, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Firstly, wow. Wow, what a night. I mean, as you know, you saw some of the stream. I had the opportunity to go to a VIP party the night before the premiere, hosted by Yes Have Some podcast. And I know that lots of you on the stream will know those guys. What a fantastic group of folks they are. They hosted this amazing party, really, really fun to be there. And they did a great live stream from the red carpet. And I know that I sent you there, or to Ghostbusters News had a live stream, and so did Extraplasm. All of those fantastic folks that I had the chance to meet actually for the first time this weekend. But yeah, so anyway, the Yes Have Some party, they hosted a party that I was very lucky to be able to go to. And some of the folks from the movie were there. That was the kind of first big part of the day. Actually, I lie, because if you were watching earlier, one other thing happened. Okay, so that day, sorry, I'm going back here, I'm kind of rambling, but that day, we were with the car at the firehouse. They were still constructing all the Frozen Empire stuff that's all around the firehouse. And we were just chatting. There were a few Ghostbusters fans there. There was probably about 10, 15 of us. Nick and Greg and Kip had taken Ghostbusters News and Extraplasm on a tour with the Ecto-1, and they just arrived at the firehouse, and we were chatting, and just suddenly amongst the group of us was Gil, the director of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Just happened to be there. And he's like, hey guys. And we were like, what is going on? Why is Gil here? And so he chatted with us. He signed the Ecto. And it was very funny, actually, that story of him signing the Ecto. So if you follow my Instagram, if you don't, it's just at Experience Explorers. You'll see a photo of me, Nick and Greg in front of the car with Gil. But then Nick found a Sharpie, and we took him around to the visor to get him to sign it. And obviously, Jason Reitman has already signed the visor on this car. And so Gil was like, do you want me to do it bigger than Jason's? And Nick was like, just cross out Jason's. And it's like, yeah, I'll just cross Jason's signature out and put mine and say my movie was better underneath it. So that was the first thing. Just the day before the movie came out, Gil was literally in the city just kind of wandering around. And I've said this to you folks before, that New York City felt like a Comic-Con. Literally, the whole city. There were folks touring the New York Public Library dressed as Ghostbusters. There were people walking the streets dressed as Ghostbusters. The firehouse was surrounded by Ghostbusters. It was a really unique and amazing time to be in New York. And I know some people have gone home now. Some people are still there. There's a few folks still in New York City right now, doing what they're doing. But oh my gosh, what a fun experience! What a fun experience! So we saw Gil, and then going back to where I started before, the Yes Have Some party. So yeah, we went to that party, and some of the cast were there. So we got a chance to chat with McKenna, who any of you that have met McKenna will know what a amazingly lovely human being McKenna is. She took time to speak to as many people as she could, and it was a very relaxed McKenna, and also podcast was there. Eric from Ghost Corp was there. Corpse, sorry, I say it wrong because I'm British. Eric from Ghost Corpse was there, and so it was a really fun evening to chat and to kind of hang out. And for me, like the end of that party, we met so many great Ghostbusters fans, had so many great conversations with different Ghostbusters fans. It was so much fun. And so I was like, this is good. I've had a really, really, really good time. But you know, then we got to the next day and to the premiere. And yeah, I know, to be like this close to Bill Murray, well, we're all chanting, Bill, 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 was so much fun. Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon were both so generous with their time signing people's stuff and you know, going around talking to fans. It was just super, super cool. So that part in and of itself, just meeting and seeing some of those incredible fans and actors was amazing. All right, I can see people trying to get my attention in chat here. Hey Jadil, good to see you. I am here. I was just sharing a monologue with you all. So if I could ask you, if you have questions now about the premiere, put them in chat. I know some of you already asked them. I'm going to scroll back and see who I can say hi to and shout out, in fact. So Nerd Affiliated, yes, Nerd Affiliated. Hey, sir. Popping in to say what's up and to drop a like. Can't hang out, but I'll probably join the next one. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. If you don't know Nerd Affiliated, go and check out Nerd Affiliated's YouTube. And you can also follow Nerdbusters, which is his Ghostbusters focused area, that's not the right word, but he has a Ghostbusters focused channel and a generally nerd channel, you know, and so both of those work for me. So please go check those out. Did I take any pictures with the cast? I did. I'm going to be putting a lot of those pictures in my, well, there'll be pictures coming up on my Instagram, but there'll also be videos. I took videos with the cast. In fact, I was able to, McKenna recorded some stuff for my YouTube, which was amazing of her. And yeah, a lot of people chatted with me, and I was able to get them on video. And I was really kind of focusing on getting video. So yeah, and if you've seen my post on my YouTube, there's the post of me with McKenna at the Yes Have Some party. There's a couple of pictures right now in the community area of this channel that you'll just see a little snippet of just some of the really cool one-on-one time we got with some of the actors, which was so great. Okay, Inside Media asked me, what time did I go home last night? I got to sleep at 2 a.m. last night, and the night before I'd got to sleep at 2 a.m. I was already on only 4 hours of sleep. So by the time I'd got out the premiere, I was so tired, so kind of emotionally overwhelmed with, I mean, just all the stuff that I'm just telling you now that happened is a lot to have happen. And it was a super fun experience, super great. So yeah, yeah, I got to bed and I found it hard to go to sleep because I was just kind of so hyped. Okay, what else have we got here in chat? Without any spoilers, is there a post-credit scene that could lead to another Ghostbusters movie? That is a great question. So no spoilers here. All I'm going to say is when you go to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in cinemas, March 21st, don't leave when the credits roll. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully that answers your question, Ghostbusters fan. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Ectotrip saying geeky is their favorite word. Me too. Me too. Okay. This a lot of people keep asking me this question, Joel. This is a really good question, and I'm really sorry because I'm not going to answer it very well for you. I'm going to just make that caveat. People keep asking me, is it better than Afterlife? And it's a really hard question for me to answer because right now I don't know. And I tell you why I don't know. Because I love Afterlife so much. We haven't had what I would call OG Ghostbusters in any form. You know, we had the 2016 movie, but Afterlife was the first time we were returning to that part of my childhood that I remember so clearly. And so I think there's something about that film, something about the fact that it was the first time we're returning to that made that film incredibly special. And I also just absolutely loved the journey the kids take in that movie. And so all of that really resonated with me. I thought it had, I don't know if anyone else thinks this, I thought it had a bit of a intentionally Stranger Things vibe, not just because of Finn Wolfhard being in it. But yeah, so all I'm saying is that those are the reasons I loved Afterlife, and I've watched it so many times that it's one of my favorite films. So a film I've seen once when I was on like 4 hours of sleep and having met all of the cast, well, not all of them, but you know what I mean, having been surrounded by all these people, it's really hard for me to be able to compare it now. I need to see, and I'm going to be seeing the film again on Wednesday at a preview screening. It's the New Jersey premiere, so I'm going to be there for that. If you're from New Jersey, folks, and you come down to the New Jersey premiere in Secaucus, I'll be there. Come meet me, come chat with me. I'd love to see you guys. So is it better than Afterlife? I don't know. I need more time. But is it good? Yes, it is. Did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. Will you enjoy it? I really think you will. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, if you want to see more screen time with Bill Murray, you're gonna enjoy it. If you want to see New York and Ghostbusting in New York, you're gonna enjoy it. If you want to see the firehouse doing what the firehouse does in Ghostbusters, you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah, if you want to see Ray Stantz play, you want to see Dan Aykroyd playing Ray like in the original, you're gonna enjoy it. I could go on. There's so many things. But yeah, let's see some of these questions again now. So Inside Media, what's your YouTube? You're on my YouTube now. This is the YouTube. If you've just stumbled across this or whatever, and you're just in a stream, you can click on my icon, the Experience Explorers icon, and the easiest way to find my YouTube is just hit subscribe. And I would love you, if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. We have so much Ghostbusters content. We have geeky content. We have lots of different film franchises represented on there. I love all things geeky. I love prop building. I love creating experiences with those props and with movies. And occasionally, like this week, I get the chance to go a little bit behind the scenes and see what's going on with premieres and movies, and that is amazing. Okay, let's see. I'm trying so hard not to spoil, said Ectotrip. Yes, I am. I don't want to spoil it for you because I want you to experience it fresh and untainted. So yeah. Okay. Oh, Inside Media said I thought I had another. No, sorry, sir. No, this is the channel. I'm talking about this one. Okay, let's see. What other? Ross is saying, love your videos. Great work. Thank you for your reactions. Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's actually really fun to bring you along with me and to have these conversations. So it's super cool. I'll keep doing it. Do I think based on the fan reaction and early insider reactions that critics will enjoy the movie? Ooh, that's such a good question. I think I have no idea these days. Critics sometimes bemuse me. Sometimes I totally agree with them, and sometimes I'm like, what were you thinking? That movie was great. And I just think it depends on what lens you're going into the movie with. So yeah, I can't answer that question. I really hope that they have a good reaction. I do. I hope they do. let's see. Uh, I do have the Ghostbusters backpack. I've got the proton pack in the background. Yes, I do, and I'll show it to you guys in a sec if you want. Uh, okay. Any real Ghostbusters references? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. But if you like the cartoon series, you'll enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. How was the score? That was good, Danny. The score was good. There were a couple of moments where it just evoked that. Uh, you know, so I don't know how many of you like love film scores. I absolutely love film scores. I listen to them all the time. Um, the sounds of the original Ghostbusters 1984 movie, some of that synth effect and other things that they use, you will hear some of that again in this movie, and they use it at just the right moments. So there's some great big orchestral moments for action, and then there's some very small moments that are super good, that reflect that original Elmer Bernstein soundtrack. So yeah, the soundtrack was good. I enjoyed it. And I think sometimes, if you know what I mean, the soundtrack didn't stick out to me in a bad way. Like sometimes you're like, oh, what was that choice? But it, like, there was a couple of times I noticed it because it emotionally got me in a good way. So yeah, I thought the score was great. Is there an end credits scene? Inside Media is asking. I'm just going to say, stay in the theatre. That's all I'm going to say. Will I be live tomorrow? You know what? I don't know. It depends. If people want me to be live tomorrow, I'm happy to be live tomorrow. If we've got stuff to talk about, I'll happily chat with you guys. I'm always open to chatting with you guys. So thank you. Ectotrip, thank you. That is so generous. I really, really appreciate you dropping something there for me. Thank you very much. That's really much appreciated. Okay. Cameron's saying, is the movie better than the first? Again, when you say the first, do you mean Afterlife? If you weren't on earlier, I was saying that I find it really hard to compare Afterlife with this movie. I mean, that sounds a stupid thing, right? Because obviously they're Ghostbusters movies, so I should be able to compare them. But I just have a really emotional connection with Afterlife that's built up over a period of time. And I actually think the more I watch Afterlife, the more I love it. So I don't think I can compare the two right now, and so I'm not going to, because I don't think I'll do it justice. I want to see it again to compare them. But like I said before, did I enjoy it? Yes, I did enjoy it. Songs in the movie. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything on that. Who was my favorite character in the film? Oh my gosh. That's a really good question. I have to say that I really enjoyed seeing Ray being Ray again. Because the only scene in Afterlife that we got with Ray, I don't say the only scene, we have several scenes with Ray, obviously. Oh, thank you so much, Avery. Hang on, I'm going to scroll up because I saw it coming on my other screen. Avery, thank you. I super appreciate that. Saying, beyond excited, I'm doing a Ghostbusters event in my town tomorrow night. That's awesome. Tell us more. Tell us more about what that event is. I'd love to hear what you're actually doing. We ran a Ghostbusters event from our geeky basement last Halloween, and it was a lot of work. So drop some more in the chat. But yeah, I think I was just talking about So, and we'll talk about it. I'd love to hear more, and I can promote it for you. So yeah, I loved seeing Ray being Ray, because what I was trying to say is, in Afterlife, the first time, I mean, that scene with Ray and Phoebe is so good, so good. Apart from the throwaway line about the firehouse being a Starbucks, I still don't understand why that line's in there, because we obviously know it's not a Starbucks, because we see it at the end of the movie. It's derelict. But he's kind of grumpy and gruff for that. And then we kind of get the fun scene with him, like, trying to decide whether he's a god or not again at the end. These are not spoilers, by the way. This is for Ghostbusters Afterlife I'm talking about right now. Don't think I'm talking about the new movie. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't get a lot of flavor for Ray. But in this, you get to see Ray loving what he loves, which is just really, really good. So just loved that. I love Dan Aykroyd, and I love Ray Stantz's character, and he was always my favorite Ghostbuster. I always wanted to play I always wanted to be Venkman when I was a kid, when we were playing, because everyone wanted to be Venkman. Just like in Stranger Things, right? You know, everyone wants to be Venkman. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, I've said it. I've said it. Right. Let's look at this. Oh my gosh, Avery, thank you. My gosh, thank you very very much. That's super cool. So your local park is playing one of the films. That's great. And me and my brother are going to suit up for all the. Oh, that is cool. And Avery, let us know, right? Have you got you got the full packs and the full suits? Tell me about your kit. I want to know about your kit. What have you got? What kind of pack have you got? Any of that stuff. Tell me the geeky stuff. I want to know this stuff because, as you can tell behind me, I have a pack. I have a flight suit. I didn't wear it to the premiere. A lot of other people did. You know, you saw how I was threaded out if you watched that video. But I Halloween. I was dressed as a Ghostbuster for 3 straight days, playing a character in our Halloween experience. So I loved every minute of it. Sorry, I'm going to go back to these questions. So Avery, let me know. I want to find out. Does this? Oh, this is a great question. Bombard. Hopefully I said that right. Does this film do a better job of keeping Ghostbusters 2 in canon? This is a great question. So quite a lot of people have asked me in the comments of my videos, and a few discussions. I even had a discussion on Reddit about it. That one of the things that was kind of a bit weird about Ghostbusters Afterlife was the fact it seemed to completely ignore everything that happened with Ghostbusters 2. And again, I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm just going to say, how do I say this? If you want to feel like Ghostbusters 2 is still canon, you will feel like that after the movie. That's all I'm going to say, and it made me very happy. Let's see. What other questions we hit? Okay. Oh, Avery's answering my question. My brother has a modified 80% scale proton pack. Okay, the Spirit one. Yeah, yep. For the weight, and I'll be rocking the HasLab pack with the 84 wand. Okay, the 84 wand. Stay right there, folks. Stay right there. You mean this one? you mean this baby? Ooh, yeah. And I didn't start that right because it's back to front, but this wand, this amazing wand. This is so much fun. This is the 84 wand, or at least that's not the 84. It's the Spengler wand. Sorry, it's the Phoebe Spengler wand. But the 84 wand is very very similar to this one. I just don't think it has the this piece on it. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and it's even more beautiful when you press this button. Oh, hang on, wait. First of all, oh yeah, and then. And the great thing is, if you've not played one of these things, I bought this to play with, and to play with. I mean, because it is a big kid's toy. Let's face it. But you can hear it. I'm going to hold it up to the mic. This thing vibrates. It like feels power. It feels like it's working. And when you press the intensify button, it shakes. It's super fun. So super fun. Yeah, it's absolutely great. I love it. And the fact that when you turn this up, see the bar chart here? You can turn this down and it reduces the power of the pack. And then it turns the power back up again. It's a really, really fun thing to have. That is a deeply, deeply satisfying sound. So much fun. So much fun. If you love the sound of a proton pack starting up or running down, spam the heart button now. Because spam that button. Because it's such a cool sound. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Yeah, here come the hearts. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, it's properly shut down now. Yep. Excuse me. Having too much fun here, showing off Ghostbusters toys. Okay, I'm just going to roll back to get these other questions here. Avery, have an amazing time. Um, that's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And the HasLab packs are great, by the way. If you haven't seen the HasLab, I had a HasLab here a couple of weeks back, and they're great packs. What I love about them is that scene in Afterlife, you know, where Phoebe takes the pack apart and fixes stuff and puts it back together. With a HasLab pack, you can literally take the cyclotron apart, and you can get inside and you can fix stuff, put it back on. You can press buttons. There's switches inside that make sounds. It's fun. It's fun. You can just, you know, open your pack up, modify it, put it back together, makes different sounds, reacts differently, changes its behavior. And if you're a massive Ghostbusters fan, there's so many communities out there that have mods for these things. Okay, let's see. Let's see what people are saying. So Dan turned a little bit emotional. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that Dan is great in the film. It's great. Okay, how did I get the wand? I bought that wand. That one's available from HasLab. It's a great wand. If you're interested in having Ghostbusters kit, and you know, this wand, by the way, one of the great things about it is, you see, obviously the batteries go in this part here, but it has a connector that comes. So if you're a cosplayer and you want to make your own pack, you can connect this wand to the pack that you're making, and that's actually what I'm doing with the pack that I'm making right now. And if you didn't see this earlier, whoops, I'm making a lot of noise here. This is the pack that I'm building right now. This is a 3D printed pack prop. And if you've seen any of my videos on my channel, I love making props. I do 3D printing and other things. But this is my pack that I'm building right now. And it's close. It's close. I've just got to do what is called in the trade the motherboard, which is the piece that sits behind the pack and all the stuff connects to. Ross saying, Ray is the best, but Venkman is cool. Couldn't agree more. That's a great way to describe it. Venkman is cool. And Ernie does so much for the fan. Ernie does do so much for the fans. He deserves the recognition. He does. Keep writing that guy checks, guys. Honestly, Ernie Hudson's a legend. Had the great opportunity of being in very close proximity to him and filming him while he was chatting with the fans just yesterday. And he was a legend. A legend. Let's see. Okay. So I'm sorry. When I'm going, it's because I'm looking at the questions and I want to make sure I speak to all of you. So Astro Controller is saying, Cameron says, is Dan going to the firehouse for Ghostbusters Day? Great question. Ghostbusters Day. What is that, folks? Well, Ghostbusters Day is an international holiday that celebrates Ghostbusters, is basically a way of describing it. And it's the 40th anniversary, oh my gosh, of Ghostbusters. The 40th. 40 years. It's making me feel old. 40 years of Ghostbusters. And they have a celebration. This year is going to be the biggest. At the Firehouse in New York on Ghostbusters Day. It's going to be a big one. Will Dan be there? I don't know, is my honest answer. I don't know. I know that it's going to be big. I know the plan is to have every Ecto that's been in the series at the Firehouse. I know there's going to be thousands of people dressed as Ghostbusters at the Firehouse. I don't know who may turn up. We will find out. But you know what? I'm going to be there and I'm going to live stream it for you guys. So if you can't make it, you can join me and we can live stream together. And if you want to make sure that you catch those live streams of those kinds of events, then please subscribe to this channel, drop me a sub, and you'll be notified when we do these things. And when you subscribe, you'll find there's all sorts of cool, fun, awesome stuff on the channel that if you're a geek like me, you will absolutely love. Okay, Astro Controller saying, I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters when I saw whoa, is this a spoiler for Afterlife? I think enough people have seen Afterlife now to know that there's a Ghost Egon in Afterlife. Yeah, but what you're talking about, Astro Controller, is the emotion at the end of that movie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, what a fantastic... that's another reason I love Afterlife so much. Okay, let's see. Ross is saying that GB2 is canon because literally there's a flight suit in the trailer. Yes, you do see a GB2 badge in the trailer. And if you're really observant in the trailer, you also will see a slime thrower with mood slime. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Ectodrip broke their Spengler run. I'm so sorry, Ectodrip. That sucks. Avery, yeah, that's going to be amazing. The wand is amazing, and I hope you have an amazing time. And thank you so much for donating to the channel. I super appreciate it. Okay, Cameron's building a proton pack from his own imagination for his own film. That's great. One of the things I love about packs and about the Ghostbusters universe is that if you want to build something that's your own thing, do it. Do it. Like, there's the core, but then you can go off and do it. You watch Adam Savage's channel, he makes a Ghostbusters Afterlife pack and he riffs off it. He does his own things, he changes things. And part of the fun of having a prop that you're building or a thing that you're making is being able to make it your own. You know, I know that there's a real focus and fandom on making things exactly accurate to the screen. And by the way, I think that's awesome as well, because there's nothing like, just like I showed you, right, with this wand, having the thing that you've seen. Oh, hello, the camera went down there. There we go. Come back here, come back here. There you go. That's my AI tripod going, where did you go, Matt? I don't know what to look at. Just got a shot of the carpet. You know, the fact that this looks and feels like what you see in the movie is part of its charm. But there's something also about being able to have a thing that you personalize that is really enjoyable. Let's have a look at these other questions. So, yeah, Bombardus, so happy to have a Hazelab pack and wand, especially since they're canon now. When I saw the Ecto Z in New York yesterday, so if you don't know what the Ecto Z is, and why am I saying Z? I'm British, I should be saying the Ecto Z, but it is the Ecto Z. When I saw that in New York yesterday at the Firehouse, they had the new packs in the back of it, but they also had HasLab packs because, hey, you know, if you need something to be in the background, it doesn't need to be, you know, it's going to be out of focus, but it has the, you know, the size and shape of the pack. Okay, let's see. What's Danny saying? Would you say, in your opinion, better than Afterlife or just as good? I loved Afterlife, but I'm hoping this is even more successful. We need a general audience to love it as well as us. That is such a good question that I tried to answer before. I can't compare them right now because I have such a long love for Afterlife. But I think your point about a more broad audience is really, really important for this movie, because I was so surprised when I was telling people that I know about all the Ghostbusters stuff I would be doing on my channel leading up to it. You know, I'm talking about buddies at work and people that I know, friends of mine. I was surprised at how many people had not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was just so surprised by that because it's so good. And so I've been out there just proselyting Afterlife to people and saying, go see Afterlife before Frozen Empire comes out. And so, you know, do it, people. Get out there. Do the missionary work of getting Afterlife out there, people to see it before they see Frozen Empire. And get people out to see Frozen Empire because they're going to love it. I think this movie is entirely designed to cross that barrier. That, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Right, let me see. What else are people saying here? Yeah, the Grim one's saying it's going to be an awesome movie, but I'm still going to miss it when it first... I'm going to miss it when it first comes out. I'm sorry. Hopefully you get to see it soon. Let's see. Where can I get one of those Ecto hoodies? Oh, thank you for noticing. This is cool, right? So this Ecto 1 hoodie is a unique item to Sony's Wonderverse in Chicago. So again, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know I did a video where we got McKenna Grace to sign the Ecto 1. When I say we, I'm talking about the Ecto 1 New Jersey team, which is Nick, who owns the amazing Ecto 1 replica, Greg, who's the Ecto Tech, who's the mechanic for the car, and myself, I do the video and social and that kind of stuff for it. But it's, I'm just going to pause this AI. I'm going to hold my hand up here to stop it. The AI, you wonder what I'm talking about. This camera's following me with AI. When I put my hand up like this, it's supposed to stop. There we go. Right, let me get the camera in the right position because it's going to go away. On the arm of my shirt here, you'll notice this is this shirt, but it has the labels from the Ecto on it. And there are a couple of labels here that you won't have seen before on the Ecto because they're related to the Ecto, the new Ecto, or the you know, updated Ecto, and they're also related to certain things like this one just here, which I think I need to hold the other way up. Or maybe I don't, but you'll see it. There's something to do with a drone there. So that's a new warning. But yeah, this hoodie is only available at Sony's Wonderverse in Chicago, and which is a pain because not a lot of people can get there. But Nick very kindly got this for me when we were at Wonderverse, and we got to hang out with McKenna and the fans there, which was so fun. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Who else has got good? There's so many questions there. I really appreciate all these awesome questions. How did the overall experience of the film? This is from Astro Controller. How did the overall experience of the film go? Because this film is only 1 hour and 49 minutes. Do you feel like they should have added more to the film? It's a really good question, and I'm trying to think about that. I didn't notice how fast it was going. I have to say that I felt like the pace, particularly for the first 2 acts of the film, was really good. Because sometimes I feel like that things get a bit rushed, and I thought the pacing was really good at the beginning. And then it went really, really fast in the 3rd act. That's how I felt. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's just how it felt. So the runtime's an interesting one. A couple of other people have asked me about the runtime being what it is, and somebody even asked me what it was because it's been advertised at different runtimes in different theaters, and so I wasn't. There was so much going on. I wasn't really thinking, oh, I better check my watch to see how long the movie is, because there's some debate about what the actual length of the movie is. But yeah, so. Yeah, I can't fully answer that question, but I answered it the best way I could. Hopefully that's good enough for you. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna try and get to these questions. All right, I'm gonna go down to the bottom here. Guys, if I've missed your question, please feel free to drop it in again, because so many things have come in that I may be missing you, and I don't want to miss anybody out. Okay, what else have we got here? So, somebody's talking about my collection, how great it is behind me. Thank you. Let's see. So Ultra Cool Media's asking about the fan pen last night. Was the fan pen at the premiere last night for anyone with a ticket that was invited to the premiere? It was a separate ticket, like you asked. So the fan pen, there were only, I would say, about 40 fans in the fan pen. So there was a whole bunch of other fans that got to come to the premiere and experience the movie. And then there was a few of us that were able to go in the fan pen. And the way that worked really was that we weren't at the red carpet. The red carpet was somewhere else. And then after the stars came off the red carpet, we had a chance to see them, and they'd come around and sign stuff before they went into theater. It was kind of cool. Is there a scale replica of the firehouse in the making? Oh, you know what? Not from me. But Hasbro would be the people to ask about that. My understanding right now is that is not in the mix. But I know that I've seen some really, really good 3D modelers creating models of the firehouse and building them. Absolutely brilliant ones. So there are models out there. If you're a 3D printer and you're willing to download the STLs and go through the work, you could definitely make one yourself. That's not something that I'm currently planning to do. I've got so many other builds planned that is kind of far on the back of the list for me right now. Okay, let's see. Who have we got here? Okay. Oh, Hector's Rip saying Sweet Home Chicago. There you go. Chicago is cool. I like Chicago as a city. It's great. Scenes in the film that made me want to cry. Are there any scenes that made me want to cry? This is from Cameron. I just can't answer that question because I don't want to spoil the film. So I'm not going to answer it. But it's a great question. Astro Controller is afraid that it won't be as good as Afterlife. That's a natural fear, right? If you really love something, I had the same fear myself. And like I said, I can't compare the two movies yet because I haven't seen this new one enough to kind of feel like I can do an actually accurate comparison. But like I keep saying, I really, really enjoyed it, and I want you to go see it. I think you're gonna. There's so many cool things, so many cool moments in the movie. Last night, after I'd done the line stream and I got home and I was talking to Esther. Esther's my wife, by the way, just so you're aware of who Esther is. Who's this Esther person? But we were talking when I got home, And as we were talking, I was just like, I mean, I didn't want to spoil it for her, obviously, and so I didn't tell her any spoilers, but I kept hitting up on things that had happened in the movie that I really wanted to tell her about. And the more that happens, the more that happens, the more you go, gosh, I really enjoyed that experience because I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. So there were so many moments that there are moments like I would want to go back and see that thing happen again. So that's great. That's how I feel. Hasbro, yeah. So one of the cool things about being at the premiere is we got to meet with some of the Hasbro guys, and they gave us some little gifts. So I'll show you this one. So this is, and I don't know if this is out yet or not, but this is one of the little gifts that Hasbro gave to us. And this is, what is this called? I know it's got a cool name. And I can't see the name on it right now. It's on the top. The Ecto Collection. Yes, of course. That's an obvious one, isn't it? But what I like about it is that it's either a mini puff or a Slimer that you get in this collection. And I like the fact that it's a containment unit is the box. That's pretty cool. And so Hasbro were giving these out to folks at the premiere, which was really fun to see these. And Hasbro were there. They gave out a whole bunch of different goodie bags to a bunch of different people, which was really cool. Okay, questions. Astro subscribe, thank you so much. And if you haven't subbed yet to the channel and you're liking this conversation, or if you like long form videos, I don't only live stream, I have a bunch of long form videos. I have a behind the scenes making of. We were on the street while they were filming Ghostbusters Frozen Empire live in New York City, and we filmed everything. And we have a whole video of that on our channel. We have build videos, we have all sorts of things that related to not just Ghostbusters, but all sorts of film franchises and geekery. And if you're a geek, and if you like franchises of films, and you don't even have to like the same ones as me, I don't mind. I'm open to anything that anyone likes is fine with me. Everyone's welcome. Everyone has the things that they really like. Everyone has things that they don't like, and that's okay. But my channel is dedicated to my love of exploring those things, making some of those things for myself, and trying to bring some of those things for life. Experience Explorers. It's about going out and experiencing stuff, and then, making it. Explore, experience, create. That's the theme of our channel here. Okay, but yeah, if you want to sub, please drop a sub. I would love you to do that. Let's see. Ross is saying Ghostbusters 1 to 3 are all good. Quorum Scene in 2 is great. I love the montage sequence. I felt like it was left out of Afterlife, but probably wouldn't have suited it. Yeah, it's true. There was no montage in Afterlife, and I agree. I don't think it would have suited it. I don't think it was the kind of movie for that. A montage is a really good device if you've got to show the passage of time. And certainly in Ghostbusters 1, the point of that montage is to show them going from obscurity to becoming incredibly successful. And it had, a montage serves that purpose to do it in just a few minutes. Montages are always a good way to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, and you'll get to see what's in this movie. You'll get to see. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button here. Apologies for me mumbling under my voice while I'm trying to find the right things to hit here. I keep pressing the wrong button. Have any ideas every day for film, and when it comes out? Would you like to be invited? Hey, Cameron, if you're doing a movie, let me know. Let me know. Let's see. What have I got here? Okay, loved the Ecto scenes you filmed in the summer. Thank you, Ross. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun doing that. It's not every day you get to see a Ghostbusters movie being shot on the streets of New York City. Let's face it. That doesn't happen every day, so that was incredible to get the opportunity to do that. What was my overall emotion? Is that Blitzy? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It says, what was my overall emotion after seeing the film? I've said this a few times before. I was so tired after I was at Hook and Ladder 8 all day in Tribeca, with the Ecto, helping to promote the movie, doing live streams. And that was awesome because we got to see so many people. And then I changed, came to the premiere, got in line, stood in the fan pen, saw everybody. By the time I got in the theater, I was exhausted. Genuinely, I we walked in and they were handing out drinks, and I just grabbed a Diet Coke and I like literally necked the whole thing because I was like, I'm so tired. And so my emotion was I was overwhelmed, if that makes any sense. And so but I I was happy. I was happy. Um, I was kind of overwhelmed by the fact that I had had the chance to spend so much time with all these amazing Ghostbusters fans, and that Sony had very kindly given me the opportunity to, just have that experience. So it was all a mixture of those things. And so what I've said before is I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie kind of outside of that context and in a different setting. Not that that was a bad setting, because it wasn't. It was an incredible setting. But I'm looking forward to seeing it in that. So my feelings about the movie was I loved it, I enjoyed it, and I really want to see it again as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And again, if you've got any other questions about Frozen Empire that I can answer for you that are spoiler free, I will answer them here on the chat. I'm happy to talk about it. Okay, Real But Fake was asking about Dan Aykroyd talking about the future of the franchise on the red carpet, and said that Ghosts Are for Everyone and the next film could be in New York, but could choose to take the picture anywhere, with New York being the home base. So I don't think this is new news at all, that there is an intention to be able to take the Ghostbusters universe just beyond New York and outside of New York as a city. I mean, Afterlife obviously did that, but then the intention is to go elsewhere. I would be very surprised if we didn't see a movie in a different city in the world at some point in the future, still with New York being part of it. And again, that's not because of any specific spoiler or any specific thing that they say in the movie. Just, I think that is a foundation that's been built now, and Dan's been talking about it, which is totally right. What do I think of Ghostbusters' character being introduced? Right, you know what? That's a great question. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm not going to talk about any new characters, if that's okay with you. But thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. And I'll happily talk about it in a couple of weeks when the movie's been out and we can have a spoilerama conversation at that point. Let's see. Okay. Was the screen time for each actor fulfilled in the movie? Oh, this is a great question, Joel. So, the real challenge with a movie with so many characters, especially because the idea was to bring the OG characters back to the forefront more than they were in Afterlife, because it was essentially, other than Ray, they were really almost cameos, right? They're not cameos in this movie. They play parts that drive the story forward, right? So, Venkman has a scene that drives the story forward. Ray has multiple scenes that drive the story forward. Ernie has scenes that drive the story forward. And so I think they did a very good job, actually, of balancing the screen time of characters when you had so many characters. And I don't think that's an easy thing to do. My example would be where it maybe wasn't so successful was in the third Jurassic World movie, which I really enjoyed. I love Jurassic World. I love Jurassic Park. And I enjoyed seeing that movie. But I think it was really hard for the original theatrical release to give everybody enough screen time for all those characters you love to feel like they had a good experience in the movie. And by the way, if you haven't seen the extended version of the third Jurassic World movie, I would highly recommend it. Sometimes you think, oh, that film already felt long. Why would I watch a longer version? But often they've tried to cut the movie down to fit it in a certain footprint, to make it go quicker. And sometimes it actually slows it down because you don't get those pauses or those moments of character development to make those films really enjoyable. And so if you saw actually that movie and it didn't resonate with you, I'd highly recommend watching the extended cut of that film. But I think they did a much better job in Frozen Empire of balancing those things out. Everyone had their arc. Some were smaller than others. Obviously, that's just going to happen. But all the characters played a part. All the characters played a part, which was really, really fun. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? T-shirts are supposed to last the entire weekend, but barely last through the whole day. Oh, this was about the t-shirts at the firehouse ecto trip. Yeah, yeah, they were giving out t-shirts at the firehouse yesterday. Well, giving them out. I mean, they were selling them as well at the firehouse. A special one. I have one somewhere. I don't know where. I came back in the ecto last night. I mean, that's crazy to say that. It sounds kind of like I'm trying to flex. I'm not. We came back from the city in the ecto one. Um, and I left stuff in the car. So I was calling Greg. I'm like, Greg, is my bag in the car? Is my ticket to the premiere in the car? I kind of want those things. It was kind of funny. I couldn't find them. So some of those things I don't have anymore. But it's funny. Yeah, but I do have one of the Firehouse t-shirts somewhere. Let's see. Leon is asking, did you find that there was unnecessary characters? For example, I'm worried that James Akis's character Lars. All right, yeah. That's a really good question. Yeah. So he, if any of you don't know, James, and by the way, I need to just shout out to James at the fan pen last night. James spent so much time with everybody, signing things, talking to people. Absolute star. Thank you for that. That was amazing of you. Really amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Did he take away from Phoebe? No. He did not at all. And when you see the movie, you'll also understand why that doesn't take away from her storyline at all in the movie. So it's a really, I love that question. Great question, and the answer is no. He does not take away, and he serves an important role in the film. Okay. Oh, so Cameron was saying he's building his own proton pack prop and was wondering what your dream proton pack would look like. Wow, that is a good question. I mean, my dream proton pack is going to be this one. So, and if you're a creative, if you do anything creative, you know that sometimes when you do creative things, they emerge. The creativity emerges through the process. So when I get this finished, I'll let you know what my dream pack looks like. Okay, Ross is from Northern Ireland, never been to New York City, but it would be a dream to see the firehouse for real. Also think they'll do Ghostbusters International. I think that would be great if they did that. I agree. I think they will do that. And then all of us across the world will have a city where Ghostbusters busted ghosts, and we could go to our own version of the firehouse in those cities. That would be fantastic. But if you haven't been to New York, and if it's one of those things that you might be a possibility, I'm a big believer that the things that you feel like are completely out of your reach don't have to be. Like I would have never have dreamed just a couple of years back that I would have been at the premiere of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, right? And so dream big, folks. Dream big. The things you want to do can happen. I totally believe that. So, and I'm sending all my good energy to you. I want your dreams to happen for you. Okay. With there being a 3-year skip, they've done a good job of making a smooth transition between Afterlife and Frozen Empire. Great question. Yeah, they do. They just roll straight into it. There's no messing around, but they give you enough exposition of the story through the beginning of the film and throughout, really. So you understand exactly, you understand enough that you need to understand where we've come from to where we are now, and it all fits together. That wasn't even a question in my mind. So they did a really, really good job of it, because it didn't even, if those things don't happen in the writing, it kind of bugs me, and it didn't bug me. So I don't think it'll bug you. I think you'll find out that's nice and smooth. Chris is asking me on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your score for the movie? Oh my gosh, it's a good question, and I should be able to answer it, and I'm not going to answer it until I've seen the film again. Because as I said, I was so tired last night, and the viewing experience was so hyped up. I don't want to give it a score. I just keep saying, I loved it. It was great. You should go see it. And when I've seen it like 4 more times, I'll give it a score compared to Afterlife. And you will get your answer. Yeah, Sony. Ross is saying Sony's treated the legacy characters really well. Lucas obviously, Ross is obviously not, is talking about how maybe Lucasfilm didn't do that with Star Wars. And again, That's not necessarily completely my opinion, but that's okay for you to have that opinion, and I totally understand what you're talking about. By the way, I think Sony have done a good job of. I think Sony have done an incredible job of listening to the fans. The fact that the premiere was so fan driven, the fact that Eric, who is an executive producer and head of Ghost Corps, allows access to himself to the fans is an incredible thing. I think I'm going to say a fairly unique thing. I think that the fans feel that they get a lot of love from Sony. And long may it continue. Thank you, Sony Pictures, genuinely, because I feel a lot of love from them. And so I'm very, very grateful. Ecto's saying, I left my bag in the car accidentally. Can I see the Ecto again? Okay. Okay, and Nuts is saying, hello from New York. Hey from New Jersey. I'll be back in New York tomorrow. How did the room feel during the screening? I'm so looking forward to seeing this one in the theater to connect with the other viewers' reactions. Gotta love that delightful shared joy. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, the room was full of people in flight suits. You know, the person sat next to me was dressed as a mini puff, and the person next to that was dressed as Dana, but as Zool. Two wonderful people, by the way, that I got the chance to spend my evening with. Really amazing. Like, people were like, what? Hyped. And so the laughter at the jokes, the laughter at some of the callbacks to either themes or ideas. Some things came up in the movie where you heard the room gasp. You heard kind of like people go, yeah, when things happened that people had been hoping that would happen. So you got all of that. It was a really fun experience to see that movie with other Ghostbusters fans who were just desperate for that film, you know, to fulfill all of those dreams that we've had about what this movie is going to be. And that was a super cool screening experience. Cameron's asking me what my favorite. Oh, sorry, Cameron, I'm going to come back to you in a second because a couple other questions. I just was speaking to you just now. So let me see what else we've got going on here. How many premieres are going to be happening in the UK? And also, is there any near Liverpool? That's a good question, Joel. So there's two types of things going on. There's the premiere, the world premiere, which just happened yesterday that I was able to attend. Then there's the UK premiere, which is happening, I think, Tuesday. And then straight after that, starting Wednesday, they're going to be what they're calling preview screenings or regional premieres that have been let out to Ghostbusters franchises or Ghostbusters fans to run. And so there may be some in... you can check out, I don't know what Ghostbusters franchise is in Liverpool, but I'm sure if you search for Liverpool Ghostbusters franchise on Google, you might find someone. You may be able to reach out and find if there's a pre-screening near you. That would be my suggestion. Cameron's asking what my favorite Ghostbusters movie is. So I love Ghostbusters 1, obviously. That probably is my favorite, but Afterlife is a close second. It may even be overtaking it a little bit. I absolutely love Afterlife. How many total seats do you estimate were in the theater? This is a good question. So that's from Real But Fake. If you've ever been to a movie premiere before, there's a couple of things that happen. Obviously, it was at AMC Lincoln Square in New York City. Very big theater. And they had several screens running at the same time. So they basically kind of filled the theater with people. So I know that was at least, I think there were 4 screens running the movie that night. They used the big Dolby Theatre there for all of the cast and crew and, you know, the great and the good of New York. And then the fans had separate screenings. But Jason and Gil came into every room and introduced the movie and made sure that we were able to spend some time with them and welcomed us. So that was super cool. Let's see. After seeing Frozen Empire, do the Spenglers still have the essence of being relatives of Egon? AKA, have they continued to do him justice? That is a really, really good question. And I think that what's sitting behind that question, I'm just going to say you won't be disappointed. That's what I'm going to say. What's going on in New York tomorrow? I think there's stuff happening at the Firehouse in New York tomorrow, so that's definitely worth going down for if you're in New York City. If you haven't seen any of my content and you're brand new to this, yesterday I was in New York City. I was at the Firehouse in New York with the Ecto One and the Ecto Z. And they have decorated the entire firehouse to look like it's been frozen. It's super cool. And if you haven't seen that, my other live streams over the last, I think I did 3 live streams yesterday. One at the beginning of the day when the Ecto was there. One when we had the McKenna and then the others came to the firehouse when Ernie Hudson came to the firehouse. And then I did a final one. Actually, no, I did 2 more. I did one from the premiere and then one after the premiere to give my review. So yeah, anyway, the Firehouse is awesome. Stuff's going on there, I think, at least for the rest of the week, all the way up to the premiere. So if you can get to New York, you want to see the Firehouse looking like it's covered in ice and it's got, and I don't just mean it looks kind of icy, like there's huge, massive icicles sticking out of it. And I'll be dropping a video this weekend actually that shows the construction of that and the other stuff that happened. So again, if you want to see that video and if you're enjoying this content and you're a Ghostbusters fan or you're a fan of any geeky type franchise, please drop a subscription to this channel. More conversations like this will happen. I'm going to be live streaming regularly, but also I do long form videos where I build props, where I go behind the scenes of some things. So, you know, if you like that kind of stuff, please drop me a subscription and, you know, you'll be the first to know when we drop new content, right? What's the next question? Blizzy said, I saw on Twitter that was an unexpected cameo from someone. Can you expand on that or not? I cannot. But it's a great question, but I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Somebody's asking who lives in a pineapple under the sea. I think we all know the answer to that question. Could I build a ghostbusting prop? What would it be called and what would it be? If I could build one. So I'm building one at the moment. If you've seen the trailer, you know Janine has a thrower on her arm, an arm thrower, and that is the prop that I'm building at the moment. That's the one I want to have because that looks so cool. I just want one. Somebody's in from Brazil. Hello, Miguel. Welcome. How many languages do I speak? I speak English. I speak a little French and a little German, but little. Okay, let's see. One question. This is from... okay, one question. Does the original song play in the film or is it just at the end again? Again, I'm not going to answer that question because I don't want to spoil it. But I will say the original song is in the film. Okay. Considering McKenna was the main character in Afterlife, is it the same this time? That's a good question. I would say that she has a very prominent storyline. That is what I'm going to say. And so she is a main character, a prominent one. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? Where are there any surprises in the movie that made my jaw drop? Ooh, that is a really good question. I will tell you there were plenty of moments that I jumped in my seat. There were some good jump scares in the film. And I jumped so much I was a little bit embarrassed. But I can be quite jumpy, so that was it. Let's see. Okay. So if anyone's got any other questions, that would be great. Any other questions that you've got about them? Oh, Ectotrip saying, "Oh no, I don't like scary moments." So yeah, scary moments. There are many in the movie. That's all I can tell you. The ghosts, Garaka's scary, and there's a good build-up. So when you get to it, you're like, oh, yeah, it's good. Blitz is asking at the premiere, James Acaster hinted Lars getting along with the ghosts more than the humans, possibly villain arc. Oh, that's an interesting one. He also said that Gary annoys him. I'm wondering if there's a possible feud there. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Again, I can't really get into it. But yeah, I mean that is a really good little tantalizing comment to say that he gets on with ghosts more than humans. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, and see what happens. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. Very excited to watch the film. This is from George. It will only be released here in Brazil on April 11th. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, man. I know that sometimes the releases in other countries are delayed because of the process of dubbing the film, and that sometimes means they come out later. So I'm sorry. And dude, I mean, I hope you can stay away from spoilers. I really hope you can, because I don't want it spoiled for you. Nathaniel is asking me very directly, is Rick Moranis in the film? And my answer is, I am not telling you. Okay, what else have we got here? Any new devices we haven't seen yet? So we're talking about ecto tech that might be in the movie. There are devices that you at least have not had fully explained to you in the trailer that you will enjoy seeing. And I love that stuff, right? I love the tech. I love the, all those kind of things. So, yeah, there are going to be no disappointments on that front at all. Right, what have we got here? What are some of the things I would have liked to have seen in the film? I probably won't talk about that because I don't want to spoil anything, because if I say that, then I'll have to spoil what was in the film. Mike is saying, what happens in the movie, like beginning, middle, and end? Can you give us some details, like every detail? Well, I can tell you that there is a beginning, and that there is a middle, and that there is an end. I can tell you that those three things are in the movie, and that they surprisingly come in that order: beginning, or maybe it's the end first, and then the beginning, and then the middle. Is that a spoiler? Maybe it is. Good question. I love it. Let's see. If you could be involved in a Ghostbusters film, what would you like to be involved as? Oh my gosh, that is a fantastic question, Joel. I mean, who wouldn't want to suit up and be a Ghostbuster, obviously, but that's probably unlikely to happen because I'm not an A-lister like Paul Rudd, who was super cool at the premiere, by the way, coming around and signing. Very nice, very nice guy. Him and Carrie Coon, class act, genuinely, at the premiere yesterday. It was fun to see those guys, really fun. I would love to be involved in the production. I would love to be involved in props. Some of you may know that I struck up a friendship with Ben Eady, who was the prop master on Afterlife out in Canada. If you don't know who Ben is, go check out Ben Eady on YouTube. Great video on his experience with the remote control trap and an accident that happened on set where he accidentally drove it under the wheel of the Ecto, and he rebuilds it on one of his YouTube videos. And you'll also see him featured on Adam Savage's video where Adam builds a proton pack, and Ben is there to assist. So that's very cool. But yeah, props maybe. Okay, what does Garaka sound like? Freaking scary, Cameron. That's what Garaka sounds like. Oh, Damon's asking about a motorbike. I'm assuming you're talking about tech. If you've seen some of the TV spots, that won't be a surprise to you that there is another Ecto of some kind. How am I not tired? Hector Trip says, I am tired. And you know what I've got to do now? When I finish this live stream, I've got to get on that screen there. In fact, I'm going to show you a quick preview of this. Let me see if I can turn this around. This is what's happening right now over here. This is the timeline for me editing the next video. This is me with Jason from Ghostbusters News right now in this shot, but that's the edit that I'm currently working on for my next video, which is going to be everything that happened behind the scenes. So that's my hard work over the next few hours that I've got to do. So I haven't got time to be tired, unfortunately. Okay. Any real Ghostbusters reference? Hayden is asking. I don't want to answer that question, but I don't think real Ghostbusters fans will be sad. Were there any particular characters in the film? This is comic, perhaps. Any particular characters in the film that you felt had a fun dynamic? Duos or trios that were forced on side quests together? 100% yes. 100% yes. That's all I'm going to say, but yes. Comic Paps, that was actually one of my favorite arcs in the film. Yes. Where does the list for where does it sit for you rank wise in the catalog? Justin Coleman is asking me. I've been asked this a few times already on the chat. I don't know yet because I need to see it a couple more times before I can decide. Because I've seen all the other films so much, and I don't think it's fair to give it a ranking yet in that set. I want to let it settle with me. So yeah. Whoa, man, no spoilers, Mike. Yeah, I know I said beginning, middle, and end, and that's a bad spoiler. Is Goraka scary? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Does anyone die? And if someone does, can you confirm it's not Winston? I'm going to confirm that I'm saying nothing about any deaths in the film. Does Goraka talk, or does it just make noise? Oh, Goraka talks. But it's creepy. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I know they said that they were open to another film. Would you want another film? And if so, any specific things or dream sequences from Blitzy? That's a really good question. Firstly, yes, I would love to see another movie. Absolutely. I want there to be another movie after this. I think that it's completely open for more. So excited by that idea. Dream sequences in that next movie coming up. I always want to see more cool ghost tech. I'm always up for always want to see more Slimer. I would love to see the Ghostbusters go to another country, like bust a ghost in London, or like a really old city, because New York is, old, but not old like some cities in Europe are. And so I think that would be really, really cool to kind of go somewhere where like it's been really old, and you know what I'm trying to say. I think that would be cool. Right, what's my favorite new, this is from Joel. Favorite new addition cast member to the Ghostbusters universe? Well, with what we know now and not spoiling anything, I love Phoebe as a character. I think Phoebe's an awesome character, and I also really love Podcast. And I love their duo relationship in Afterlife. I think it's great. Right. Yeah, why me is just really concerned about people dying in the film, and I'm not going to talk about that, but I understand why you're concerned. Yeah. What happened to Slimer in the film? Again, I can't tell you, but if you've seen the trailer, you know Slimer is in it. And he's back doing what he does best. I hope the mini puffs made a lot of mess. Yeah, the mini puffs are great in the film. They're really good. Jadil is back. Hey, Jadil. Was Pukey as iconic as he is in the TV spots so far? I mean, Pukey's awesome. Yeah, Pukey was great. I loved Pukey. I don't think this is a spoiler. Because it's not a spoiler. Just listen for the sound that Pukey makes when he moves around in the movie. It was such a beautiful sound choice for the sound design team. It was, again, one of those things that stuck out to me in the movie when Pukey is moving. just listen for the sound. It's just so good. And we can talk about that more when the spoilers are out and we've all seen the movie. But uh, it was one of those things that wasn't a joke, but I wanted to laugh so hard, and I was just like, sound designers, you geniuses. It was just brilliant. Um, let's see here. Am I crying or am I okay? I'm fine. I'm not crying. I'm just tired. Any reference to the to the supposed in-universe movie that Gary talks about in Afterlife? Ooh, that is a good question. I don't know about a supposed. You have to tell me more about that, Hayden. Um, there's definitely. I'm just going to say there's definitely stuff in that ballpark in the film that got some big cheers out of the Ghostbusters fans in the premiere. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, but tell me more about that. Podcast and Trevor bring a lot of comedy to Afterlife. Do they do the same in Frozen Empire? 100% they do. Yes, and I loved it. I loved it. They delivered. Their characters continued to deliver the fun that they delivered in Afterlife, which is just fantastic. So that was good. You said he hung out with Ghostbusters News. How was that? Great. Yeah, great. I mean, it was really, really cool. I'm just, yeah, I spoke to Ghostbusters News on a couple of occasions, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was really fun. It was really fun, and we chatted about a little bit about presenting styles and about Ghostbusters and what we're excited about, and we talked about the movie at the end and what we thought of it and how we felt about it. So that was cool. You'll get to see that in my video edit as well, which is coming up this weekend. So again, and as you know, you got to because you're on YouTube, right? If you want to see that video, covers everything that happened when I was at the premiere, then subscribe and you'll be able to see it. You'll get a link. Won't get a link. You know how YouTube works. Subscribe, hit notify, and then when I put something new out, you'll see it, and you'll get notified when I live stream again. Blitz is asking Pukey or Slimer. Pukey and Slimer both had great sound design. Both of them. Do Trevor and Lucky get their due? I'm not going to answer that, but it's a good question. 64-bit is asking any surprise cameos. Again, I totally understand the passion behind your question. I'm not going to answer it. There's a trailer spot, and I think it's the end of Slimer running from the sewer dragon. Oh, interesting. I wish Sony would make a mini series of them. I think they're so funny. Oh, you mean the puffs? What you mean? Yeah, that's a good idea. You mean kind of like they did with Disney Plus, and they've done some of these little, mini episodes like they've done with Baby Groot, something like that is what you're thinking of. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Thanks for that idea, Alice. With such a great threat as Garaka, are you worried that the threat can't exceed the one of Frozen Empire? That is a really good question. It's tough, right, isn't it? Because it feels like in these blockbuster movies, you have to have a world-threatening issue. It's a really good question. I think they'll find something. There's a Cannibal Girls reference again, because there has to be, Ecto Trip is saying. And anyone in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cannibal Girls is one of Ivan Reitman's early movies, the original director of Ghostbusters, and they referenced it in Afterlife. It was on I can't remember what the word for it is now, but on the cinema, where they display the names. There's a name for that thing. I can't remember what it is now, but it's displayed as one of the movies that's showing. Okay, Ross is saying, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, you're talking about the Sandman, yeah. So we're talking about sorry, I'm blubbering here. Ross, I'm assuming you're talking about the Sandman character. Oh, yeah, okay, you have said it. I'm just not reading properly. Yeah, the point of Ross's comment is that there are some great characters from the animated series, Real Ghostbusters, that could be great bad guys in future movies. And Osho mentions that there is an animated movie still in the works. I heard that mentioned a lot by Ghostbusters fans. I haven't heard it confirmed by Sony. But something animated, and you've seen what they did with Spider-Man animated. I'm in. I'm in. Jadil, how was the movie? Good, really good. Um, is a slime blower in the film? Cameron is asking. I think you're talking about the Ghostbusters 2 slime blower. This isn't a spoiler because it's out there. There are images of the slime blower, so there is a slime blower in the movie. Yes, but you have to keep your eyes open. Any post-credit scenes? I'm just going to say stay in the theater. I know I'm not allowed to spoil. This is from Gabriel, but is there anything you can tell us about the new cast member who hasn't been in the trailers? Does she have a big role? This is a really good question. It was asked earlier in the stream, and I'm not going to answer it for all the obvious reasons. I'm just going to say you're going to enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let's see. Again, being asked to rate it 1 through 10. I can't right now because I need to see it again. Because I don't feel like I can rate it compared to the other movies yet, just because I haven't seen it enough. But I keep saying I really enjoyed it, and I really want you to go see it. You should go see it. It's going to be fantastic. Going to be fantastic. It is fantastic. What am I talking about? Hayden saying, what are you saying here, Hayden? He said something like, I think there was a movie about it in the scene in the classroom. Oh, yeah, this is the reference. Thank you, Hayden, to what I was asking. In the classroom where he discovers the kids with the trap and shows them fan footage of 84. Yeah, I didn't interpret it that way, but maybe other people, I know how these things are in the community so sorry, Hayden and I are having our own conversation here. Hayden's talking about in Afterlife, the scene where Mr. Gruberson, Gary Gruberson, notices them with the trap, and when I say them, podcast and Phoebe, and says, great replica. And then they realize it's real, but he shows them video footage of what I would say newsreel footage of the Ghostbusters on YouTube. So yeah. 64-bit Rewind says, my only Easter egg request was that the painting of the boys from GB2 to be somewhere in the firehouse. I know that's likely. You'll have to see. You'll have to see what happens. Okay, let's see. What else are people saying? Laura's saying hi. Hi. Welcome. There was a Cannibal Girls reference in Ghostbusters 2. Also, that's why it was in Afterlife. Hey, you got to keep these things going, right? Right after Ray yells, we're back. Okay. Were obvious parallels to the original film, aka the library ghost done well? That is a great question, Blitzy. I think that the way, again, I don't want to be in any way spoilery here, but we know the library ghost is back because it's in the trailers. I think that when you see that moment integrated in the entire scene, it holds together fine. Yeah, I really like that scene. I thought it was really great, and it worked. What happened to Phoebe when she was screaming in the trailer, Cameron? I am not going to tell you. And I've seen, it's really interesting because I bought into a lot of the theories that were out there about what was actually happening. And I'll just say it wasn't any of those theories. None of the theories that are out there were accurate that I've seen. Alice is saying, does it still have the same rating as yesterday that you gave the film? So yeah, so I did yesterday when I was driving home late. I said a 7 out of 10. And I've kind of recanted that, not because I think it's worse. I don't think it's worse than 7. I think it might go up because I was so tired last night. And so I'm not going to give it a number rating right now until I see it again on Wednesday at the preview screening in New Jersey. And I'm actually quite a hard rater as well. Some people are like, only 7? I'm like, well, there's lots of movies I love that I give a 7 because there are some movies that are so good they deserve an 8 or a 9 or a 10. And so, yeah. So I don't hold to that rating right now. The 2 directors are officially announced by Sony a couple of years ago, but it's gone very quiet. Yeah, this is about the animated series. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with that. Okay, let's see. Can the proton pack in the back? Okay. You want to see the proton pack back here? Yeah. Okay, I'll do that in a second. Why me? I'm just going to get to these other questions, and then we can do a show and tell. Let's see. How many films do you believe will be able to follow after this one? I think they can just keep going. Honestly, Joel, I think they can keep going. Um, but let's see. On the screen, the chemistry between Bill, Dan, and Ernie is still there after these years. I'm sure it is. And how does it compare to the Spengler family? Ooh, that's a Dan. You come with some great questions tonight. I really like these questions. Um, yes, the chemistry is there. Um, but the three OGs also have some of their own standalone scenes, which are very good. Um, and I think it's the same. Like they have the original chemistry, and then the Spengler family have their chemistry, which I love. Absolutely love the chemistry with the Spengler family. It's just Paul Rudd in that kind of new dad role is just great to watch. So much fun. Um, Comic Pap says, was the R&D lab a very fun addition? Oh, yes. And if you know me, you know I love stuff. You can see, there's stuff. I love that stuff. And the R&D lab is, there's a lot, I mean, a lot is shared in the trailer, but there's a lot more to the R&D lab. There's a lot in the R&D lab that's very pivotal to the story, and all of it's great. And so the R&D lab is both super cool technology-wise, lots of cool stuff going on, and the potential of disaster there is high, which raises the stakes big, and I like that. It's good. Again, a question about Phoebe screaming. I'm just going to say that what everyone has been suggesting happens to her in the screaming is not what happened. Anything you can say on Phoebe and Trevor sibling relationship, because Finn and McKenna are so sweet in real life. You get a lot of the same stuff. There's some great. It's just, I mean, yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just going to say that chemistry's there. It's good and it's funny, and they both lean into where they are in their life as characters well, and they use that to the advantage of the storyline, which is great. Oh, Hayden is talking about Camille's. I think I'm saying his name right. Is Camille right? If I'm wrong, spell it out for me, because I'm a bit stupid with these things sometimes. The armor that you see in the trailer, yeah, it's cool. You'll see more of it. I'll say nothing more. Would you want to see an Island of the Dead? Well, that's an interesting idea, Cameron. I like that. DJ Knight is saying, you don't think Phoebe is possessed by Zool? Poor Phoebe. I'm saying nothing about what actually is happening to Phoebe. But I don't think that anyone's got it right yet. Zag is asking me, without spoilers, do you feel there was anything plot or character-wise that wasn't exactly wasted, but still could have been used more or fleshed out more? Ooh, what a great question. I think that's hard for me to answer right now because I was so tired last night. I want to see the movie again. And I think sometimes when you're really exhausted and kind of hyped up, you don't always make all the connections you should. But one of the first comments I made about the movie was that they didn't waste much of anything in the film, I don't think, at all. I think it was, I think that pretty much everything that was built up came to a fruition and was acted upon. So yeah, I didn't feel anything was wasted at all. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? What happened to the Paranormal Research Center? You'll find out, Cameron. In Afterlife, I feel like the ghosts were limited. How does Frozen Empire compare? You get up a lot more close and personal with some of the ghosts. We've seen that in the trailer. You're going to get more ghost action in this movie. Yeah. Let's see. Langdon is saying, I hope the critics like the film so we can have more Ghostbusters to come. I 1,000,000% agree with that, Langdon. 100%. Okay, let's see. Nerd Holistic is asking, hey dude, dear dude. Hey dude, any chance of Rick Moranis? Does anyone die in Ghostbusters team in this film as Iron Man in Avengers? We can wait for it. We can't wait for it. Let's see. I can't answer any of those questions because I will spoil the film. And so I'm not going to answer any of them. But I understand why you're asking those questions of me. But I'm not going to spoil anything. Was the pacing good? Total immersion, good question. I I think sometimes I feel like things are rushed, particularly at the start. And I thought the pacing, particularly for the first two acts, was very good. There's been a few questions about runtime and other things. It did feel like the third act was fast to me, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. But it did feel fast to me. Oh, Blitzy's asking probably something similar to what I was saying. I know you said earlier the start and the middle went quite quickly. What was the overall pacing of the film, and do you feel like you missed out lots of hidden details, Easter eggs? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of back. So what I meant when I said I felt they went quickly is I felt they were paced really well, so I didn't notice the time passing, if that makes sense. So I don't think they were quick. I don't think they were rushed. Just to make a clarification, I think they were really well paced. I think the third act went really quickly, is how I felt. I think I know people missed stuff, right? So when I was talking to Ghostbusters News, we were chatting about the slime blower, and he hadn't seen it, and I had. And I was also sat kind of, you can imagine the theatre was packed. I mean, people sat in the front row, and the front row in a big movie theatre is not always the best place to sit. And the screen was very big. I mean, it was a great theatre. The sound, the picture were perfect. But I was sat close to the front, like 3 rows back to the side. So you don't always see everything when you're in that kind of weird angle. And again, that's why I kind of want to see it. I know I've got a good seat next week on Wednesday. So I'll be right in the middle and I'll be able to see everything I want to see. Okay. Okay, DK Knight is part of the Sigourney Weaver Garak army. Hail Garaka. I'm worried now. Has this live broadcast been haunted or possessed? Nathan is saying, in an interview, Paul Rudd stated Garaka can force ghosts against their will to serve in his army. Is the actress unnamed role Gozer who is forced to serve in Garaka's army? Again, I can't answer that question because again, it will spoil it. But it's a really good and it's a great question. It's a really good question and a good thought process. Let's see. Do I think Slimer had a good part in this film? I think Slimer had just the right amount of time in this movie. And I think that what was really, really nice was, if you think about in Ghostbusters 2 with Slimer, where they started this idea of Slimer as a bit of a pet or just kind of being loose in the firehouse. It was played more just for comedy, would be my, it wasn't really driving the story forward, other than Lewis learning how to use a thrower. But in this film, yeah, there's actually like a payoff for Slimer, which I liked. So it's good. How often, Wymie is asking me, what do I have to look and play with my Ghostbuster stuff? Well, all of Halloween I was dressed as a Ghostbuster, so frequently, or at least recently. Let's see, Frozen Empire, does it build up in the beginning or does it just start with the sewer dragon chase? It doesn't start with the sewer dragon chase, is all I will say. We are not talking spoilers, Sold in Mind. No spoilers here. We're not going to give any spoilers out. I think the slime boa would have a part in the film because of the leaks. It wasn't just leaks. There's one of the trailers where you see the slime boa in the trailer. Any cringe moments that you think would not age well? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. In an interview, Paul Rudd stated Garaka. Oh, gosh, I'm going backwards. Nathaniel, did I already answered that? Maybe you put it in again. Apologies. If you did, or if you didn't, I'm losing the plot, which is fairly normal. Did Walter Peck get new things to do? Because that's my biggest hope for bringing him back, is that his character evolves. He plays a key part in the story, is all I'm going to say, that goes on a, goes on a path that is helpful to the story. Okay. Let's see. Make a list of the best Ghostbusters lines so far. Where do you put Frozen Empire in the top of the list? Who was your favorite character on it? Does Sigourney... This is from Nerd again. Um, does Sigourney appear in this one? That's a lot of questions. So, quotable lines in Frozen Empire, definitely. There are some. Some hark back, some hark forward. Um, yeah, I mean, Paul Rudd has a whole scene that is so stupid and so awesome at the same time. I absolutely loved it. Killed me. It was just the best. You knew where it was going, but you know what he's like. His comedy pacing and acting is just so incredible. So yeah, you'll enjoy that. And who was my favorite character in it? I said earlier, it's really hard. I really love all the characters so much. I really enjoyed seeing Ray Stantz back in a Ghostbusters movie being Ray Stantz, so I really enjoyed that. And somebody asked me earlier about were there any like kind of side quests where characters buddy up. Yeah, so you'll find out. And but I enjoyed that. um, let's see. Right, what else have we got here? Oh, we're being told we're not safe from the death chills. What gender is Garaka? They don't make that clear, Cameron, at all. It doesn't really come up. Garaka is just cool and scary. Do I know of any 3D showings? I don't think so. I don't think they've gone for 3D. They didn't do Afterlife in 3D. That may have been... put my teeth back in. They didn't do Afterlife in 3D, which I think was partly because of the whole COVID thing. But also, I think just to stay in canon with the original Ghostbusters that weren't 3D as well. But you never know. It may turn up in 3D somewhere else. It's certainly not aware of it being 3D in this market. It's only in IMAX, large format, here in the US anyway. Oh, you're right, Ectotrip. Lewis learning to use a throw is a deleted scene. You're right. I've seen it so many times, I just thought it was in the movie. That's funny. Okay, Comic Paps is saying, at times, did it seem as though the Keenan and Reitman really give actors free rein, so I'm reading this badly, and fun with the comedy? Atcaster did do us Brits proud. He was great. He did a good job. And I said earlier, if you weren't on the feed earlier, Comic Paps, that he was an absolute gentleman when I was at the premiere. So I was in the fan pen, if you didn't know that, at the premiere, and he spent time with everybody. He walked around and signed he signed everything, spoke to everybody, picked up Ghostbusters franchise patches from folks, took photos with them. He was he was great. He of everybody, him and Carrie Coon were the two that spend the most time with fans in the fan pen. It was really, really great. And yeah, I think there are, again, it's hard to know how much improv happens in these movies, right? But the comedy was good, the chemistry was good. I was really excited to see it. Right, I'm getting really behind on these questions. Sorry, I'm going to whiz through these. Yeah, you may be right, Langdon, about Garaka being genderless like Gozer is. It just happens that Gozer appears as a woman to begin with. So Garaka is probably the same. I'm trying to remember because again, that's why I need to watch it again because so much was going on. I can't remember if they referred to him as a he. Because he does get a backstory told about him. Saying him, look, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm going to refrain from answering that question, and we'll find out. On Wednesday when I see it again. I'm definitely going to live stream on Wednesday, by the way, from the New Jersey premiere. So I can bring you more. I can answer these questions then. In the trailers, we see the comedy of the movie. Is there much more that wasn't shown? Yeah, there is a lot more that wasn't shown in the trailers. One thing I would say, and this is not a surprise, right? Because we all see this. There is a lot of stuff that was in the trailers that in the movie was slightly different. And that often happens, right? Because they're putting the trailer together before the film is cut. And so there'll be lines used that are perfect for the trailer that maybe don't end up in the movie. And I think you'll find that there's a number of things that you see in the trailer that don't manifest in quite the same way as they do in the movie. Um, let's see, in the trailer. Okay, that's the same question. Langdon's asking, I highly doubt that Slimer will help, but must be messy like the mini Stay Puffs. I'm just going to say Slimer has a story arc, and it's good. Um, do we get a traditional Ghostbusters opening, i.e. 1 and 2, with no Ghost Moogly, or is it just a somber opening like Afterlife? Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question, but it's a great question. I'm going to let you find out. Did I meet any of the actors? Trend Aiden is saying yes. At the premiere last night, and again, I should probably say this because I know people drop in and out of these live streams. So I know the title says it. I was at the world premiere last night, and I was in I live near New York. I work in New York, but I was in New York all of yesterday for the build up to the premiere and the premiere, and I was there the day before for the build up. And I got to go to a party hosted by Yes Have Some podcast. If you don't know Yes Have Some podcast, check them out. Fantastic podcast. Yes Have Some, obviously Ghostbusters themed. They're a great trio, and they hosted this awesome party, and it was really fun. And we got to hang out with some of the cast. So that was good. They were at the party, and then we saw Ernie at the firehouse. McKenna chatted on my YouTube for a bit for me. You'll see that video. I'm editing it together. It'll be out this weekend as long as I have enough time to pull it all together. Yeah, so I did get to meet the actors, and I was like this close to Bill Murray. It was hilarious. We were, yeah, it was really, really fun. Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn, everybody was there. It was a fun night. So yeah, I was really grateful that we got to see all those folks. So yeah, Trent, thank you. And what I was going to say is that video of kind of everything that happened in New York leading up to the premiere is going to be on this YouTube channel. So if you want to see that video, please drop a subscription to me. Hit the subscribe button, and you can be notified when that happens. Let's see. Okay. People are making jokes about Goraka here. Zach is asking me, in my opinion, which of the OG characters had the best arc. Ray. Fantastic. Blitzy's saying, sorry you've been asked this before, but who do you think is Callie's mum? I don't know. That's a great question. I have thought about it. It's a great question. You probably see from my reaction that question is not answered in the movie. That would be a giveaway if it was a plot point, right? But it is not a plot point. Nerd is saying, always remembering Slimer was inspired by John Belushi. Yes, he was Pete Venkman in the original, right? Yes, that's right. Is there a McKenna song in this film? I don't know. I stayed through the credits, but I was chatting to the people next to me about the movie. I don't remember there being one. That's really bad. I'm sorry. I love McKenna's music. I thought Haunted House was great, and I've listened to her other stuff lately. My daughter loves McKenna's music. In fact, McKenna and I talked about this very fact. McKenna was kind enough to say hi to my daughter on the YouTube video I was recording. I don't know. So sorry. And I'm sorry, McKenna, that I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. I'll watch the film on Wednesday and I'll let you know. Does James Ancaster comedy show in the movie, or is he just a serious scientist role? A bit of both. I mean, he's a serious character, obviously. He's not like playing a comedy part. But like anything in Ghostbusters, everyone has comedy moments. So yeah, he's good in it. Were there any parts that made you want to scream in joy? Yeah, there was. I won't tell you what it is, but I just enjoyed the way some of the threads of the story led to certain things happening, and I enjoyed it a lot. Nathaniel is asking, Slimer enlisted in Garaka's army, but saved by his friendship with Trevor. That's a great question that I'm not going to answer. Was there anything shown in the trailers that wasn't shown in the film? Yes. Yes. There was a lot of things that I was expecting to see that after watching, I was like, that wasn't in the movie. Do the turtles show up? Can't tell you. Do the trailers show too much of the final film or just hint at the right amount? I was worried about this, Joel. I don't think they do. I was really surprised because there's so much stuff, but they've stayed fairly focused on certain bits, and some of the things you see don't turn out the way you expect them to in the actual story. So I don't think it spoiled anything. Um, Langdon saying, McKenna must be surprised to see you in almost everything from Ghostbusters. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, she was like, oh, hello. Well, we met her. The first time I met her was in Chicago when she signed the Ecto One. And then I met her at the Yes Have Some party. And then, yeah, again at the Firehouse. I always say this, and I'll say it again. She's a delightful person. Her mum and dad are delightful. Just great people. Okay, let's see. Aubrey the Fox is asking, what would I rate the movie out of a scale of 1 to 10? I've been saying, Aubrey, right now that I'm not going to rate it because I need to see it out of the context of the premiere. But I really liked it. It's good, and you should go see it. I will give it a rating when I've seen it again a couple more times. Let's see. Did I talk to Ernie? I didn't really chat with him. He was like going past to talk to the fans. I mean, obviously I'm a fan, but I was with the car, so we were like inside the fan. You know, not the fans were outside. I was inside the kind of the barriers with the car and the team, and so you know, I was filming, and there were people asking for autographs and stuff, and I just kind of, but I didn't speak to him personally, but he was like stood next to me for a good while. You know, he was getting somewhere and getting back, and there were a lot of fans, and you know, people want to see Ernie. So yeah, it was good. Let's see. Does the library ghost have a decent part in the film? You'll have to see, but it's fun. Any integral ghost we haven't seen yet? You have to find out. You'll find out. Do they keep any familiar themes or score in the film, or is most of the soundtrack new? Somebody was asking me about the soundtrack before, and I'll just say the soundtrack was great. There are definitely themes that hark back to the original Leonard Bernstein themes that you hear in Ghostbusters 1, and obviously in Afterlife. And those stuck out to me in a very good way at the moments they were used, because they hark back to moments that, like, the music reminded me of that moment in the previous movie, which was terrific. So it would work well. And there were new things too. Would I like to see a ghost that can transform into a car, chasing the characters? That would be cool. That would be cool, Cameron. Have the patches changed? I heard that they moved back to the 1984 patches. So I think that they had the original 84 patches as accurately as they could in Afterlife, was my understanding. But there's a whole range of different patches now. There's an engineer patch. There's the black patches when they're wearing the red coats. So you see quite a few different styles of patch. Nathaniel says, judging by your reaction to my questions, am I safe to assume that Gozer does appear and that Slimer is enlisted Gracker's army and Lewis Tully have cameos? You can assume anything you like. You can assume anything you like. I'm not giving anything away. Is Fern as Empire as nostalgic as Afterlife? It's got a different nostalgia because of the New York bit. The nostalgia really came to me seeing the Firehouse, and they're in the Firehouse a lot. You see the Firehouse in a much richer way than you've ever seen in any other movie, and that's really satisfying. I absolutely loved that, and that was nostalgic for me. But also I was excited to see things that I'd only been able to imagine because they were never really shown. And there were some other bits of nostalgia that were great that I won't mention, but yeah, they were really, really good. Joel is asking, does Harold Ramis have a connection to the film, or have they let his character go and let the new cast step in? I think there's never any way that he's going to leave this franchise. And he is in it, just not in the same way as Afterlife. I'll just say that. But his presence is felt. Cameron's saying, I commented on one of McKenna Grace's songs, and I told her that she should make music video for Frozen Empire. I think we would all like to see that. Don't you agree with me? 1 1000%, Cameron. I would love to see a Frozen Empire song from McKenna. I really, really would. Does the Sedgwick Hotel appear at all? I'm saying nothing. Retro Bro. Ecto Trip. Is there a memorable song, 80s style in the film, almost like the GB2 soundtrack, to listen to over and over again? You know, somebody asked this before about the soundtrack, and I can't remember a song. Maybe there was. But, you know, this is why I need to see it again. Langdon, I laughed a lot at your line when she saw you and you said, "It's me again." I know. And she's probably like, "What? Who is this guy? Oh, hi. Hi." Just a random British guy on the street. That's really funny. Yeah. I just, again, I keep saying this. I can't say enough good stuff about McKenna and her family. Nerd Holistic Co says, "I'm from Brazil and I understand the idea of Dan to pitch a ghost chase with science is cool to see how his team is also in My Girl 2 films. I grew up with Slimer." Hang on, sorry, I was scrolling up. Way as him, and I'm a scriptwriter too. I didn't fully get all of that, but I think I understand basically what you're saying. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, there's lots of, all of that's cool. All of that's cool. Yeah. Retro Bro saying in response to Sedgwick. I saw that Egon plays chess with Phoebe, right? There's this in the trailer. I don't know what you're talking about. Phoebe plays chess. Would I like to see a final battle in the Ghost Realm? You know what? After Answer the Call, I'm not really up for that. And I'm not a hater of Answer the Call, by the way. A lot of that film made me really laugh, and I did enjoy it. But I really didn't think the third act delivered for me, personally. And I think sometimes when you get these huge, overarching, like, kind of CG sequences, we've seen them so much, I'm not sure that I would be up for that. I think that if there was a movie with that, I'd want it to have to be really, like, the idea of going there would have to be really integral, I think. Nathaniel saying, any references to GB2, any references in the score? You know what? I don't know about the score. Again, I'm going to listen real hard when I go on Wednesday. It definitely felt bigger. Like the score felt bigger in Ghostbusters 2, the score felt bigger in this movie than in Afterlife. And any references to GB2, you'll have to see. But there are some already in the trailer, so GB2 does not get left in the dust, kind of in the same way that it did in Afterlife. Is Frozen Empire set in 23-24? Yeah, it is. If I'd done the mathematics right in my head, it basically is, yes. Because they talk about the ages that Phoebe and Trevor are now. Roger Rose says, I hope the slime blower gets used in the film. You'll have to wait and see. Zach says, what do you think the critical reception to Frozen Empire will be compared to the fan reception? It's always a really difficult one, right? Because the super fans, I mean, I'm a super fan, I guess you could say, we just want it to do well, right? And so, you know, I remember saying this when years ago I went to the episode 1. I was in the US. I was living in the UK at the time, but I came over to the US to see episode 1 of Star Wars. And I remember at the time saying, I don't care if there's like a lightsaber in this thing and the Force is in it, I'll watch it, right? And so if you're a fan, you like kind of, you know, just ready, you're up for anything. And critics, sometimes I just don't agree with critics. I think that they just a little bit sullied and a little bit, you know, if it's not dark and horrible and depressing, then they don't seem to like it for some reason, you know, because it's not serious enough for them. So I really hope that, I really want it to get critically well reviewed. I really do. I want to see that. And I think the fans are going to love it. I think the fandom's always split, though. I know people that are not fans of Afterlife, which is like crazy to me because I love Afterlife. And other people that are massive fans of it. So I think it depends on. There's so much in Ghostbusters. You know, it's horror, it's action, it's comedy, and it depends on which one of those things you really care about most. Some people really want more comedy. They wanted more Pete Venkman. They wanted more of those funny scenes. And then there are other people that really like the ghost part of it and the scary part of it, and there are other people that like the action part of it. And depending on which one of those things people are really into, sometimes, you know, Afterlife didn't work for them because it was a smaller film in some ways. I loved it because it was smaller. So I think it's going to be the same with this. Okay, let's see. More questions coming. What do I think that... Oh, sorry. Sorry, Zach. I was answering your question again. Any giant product placement? Coke Ecto Cooler. I know the vehicle they use, the Ecto Z, is a Mercedes, and that's a piece of product placement because, of course, Mercedes were at the firehouse yesterday promoting it. But I don't remember anything else. But again, maybe I wasn't looking out for it. I know Joel's saying, I know you can't answer, but I do believe there is a ghost friend for Phoebe, and I think I can see her struggle with some issues in some set pictures. You'll just have to wait and see. Does the movie tease more movies in the future? I'm just going to say I think the Ghostbusters universe is open for business. Nerd is saying, I bet Slimer is the real deal as a villain in this film. Slimer is the bad guy. That's what we don't know. I love that idea. Yeah, and Nerd is saying, this franchise is epic. Lived in one of the... sorry, I'm not reading this well. Franchise is epic, and the most cool stuff so far. Watch out, Dune 2. I love Dune. And Nerd lived in Oxford. I enjoyed Dune 2. I don't know if you know this, but on my channel, if you like Dune, I have a whole video where I make a Dune thumper, like a working thumper from Dune. If you're into that stuff, there's a whole video where I do a prop build. I make the thumper, and then I recreate that whole thing from Dune. So yeah, you can check that out. In fact, it's just around the corner. I could go grab it in a second. I promised a show and tell, didn't I? I did promise a show and tell. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just stop this from moving because it... Stop! I'm holding my hand up, not to you guys, but to my AI that's controlling the camera and making it move around. Okay, so this is my spirit pack that I have modded. And the problem is that it's kind of tangled up with a whole bunch of other things. Hang on, let me get this out of the way. Oh, okay. Is it going to come out? There we go. It's come out safe. All right. So this is a spirit pack. Somebody said they wanted to see it a bit closer, and I've modded it a little bit, not massively, but I've distressed it a little bit more, and kind of added various things to make it look more metallic. Added these bits here on the pipe work, and added the kind of army tape around the... Sorry, you're not seeing this very well. Around here, just to make it look a little bit more used and abused. So yeah, that's my spirit pack. I'm trying to hold it up a little bit more for you guys to see. Hang on, there we go. And then I'll be out of the frame, which will be even better for you. But that's it. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. And so I've added extra paint and made changes to it. And yeah, I like it. And the good thing about the Spirit Pack is compared to the HasLab pack, it's definitely not as good a pack. But it's so much lighter. So if you're going to wear this out and about, it's a much better pack to wear. Totally. It's the way to go. Right, I'm going to just put this back and it's all going to collapse. There's a few other things back here as well. Maybe you guys want to have a tour. Let me see if I can put this up here. Right, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna just release this. Give me 1 second. This is where all my careful work of putting the tripod together and everything is going to fall apart now as I take this off the stand. Hello, you're coming with me, people. Right, I'm just going to turn this around here and flip this around. So this is some of the geekery that you can see behind me. I'm just going to have to hold this down. So there's my Spirit Pack. And then over here, there's the Ecto 1 plate. And these are the Cheetos that I got yesterday. These are the Ghost Pepper Cheetos that are sponsoring Ghostbusters here. They're Ghost Pepper Puffs. I'm loving the Cheeto guy there. But they were giving these out at the firehouse yesterday. And we carry on. I've got my Ecto 1A plate. I've got my PKE meter here for scanning for ghosts. And then a couple of traps. These are traps I've modded. If you watch some of my videos, this is one of the trap mods that I did. You see here that I've, you switch this switch. This was originally a spirit trap, but I modded it to make it look a little bit more screen accurate. And one of the cool things that it does, in a second, is you'll see that smoke actually comes out of this trap. Takes a second to come in there, but I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's not a very good angle right now. But yeah, smoke is coming out of it. And then some of the posters they were giving out for Frozen Empire. And then up here, folks were giving me all sorts of cool stuff at the Yes Have Some party. So this is a bookmark for Razor Cult books. And some of the pins. This is a bookmark for the library. This was fun. This was something that the guys put together, which was like a bingo card for what people were expecting to see from Frozen Empire. Luckily, I haven't filled it out, so there's no spoilers there. And then at the Yes Have Some party, they gave out these incredible pins. The Goraka pin here. Hopefully you can see that well. And then this is a really cool thing that's got the Extraplasm podcast, and it's all in the style of the Razor Cult poster that you'll see in the movie. And then this is the collector's coin from the Yes Have Some premiere party. Look, Ghostbusters, Yes Have Some, New York City. That was very cool. Sticker for Razor Cult books here, and this was my VIP pass for the party right there. And that in the background, I have to share this because that's super cool. That is me meeting Steven Spielberg. I can talk all about that another time, but that was a super cool moment. So yeah, that's all the geekery behind you. And by the way, I have to have obviously the top of a Dune popcorn bucket here, which is obviously a thing that you need to have in your home. You know, it's an essential thing that's required and needed. And it does feature in my Dune making film movie. Oh my gosh, dude, can't speak sentences. Okay, we're clicked back into place. You guys see me okay? Here we go. There we are. Right. Okay, people are commenting in chat again. Let's see what folks are saying. Sorry, I've been missing some of this because I've been touring you around. Right, let's run through this. Does this movie tease more movies in the future? I'm just going to say the universe is definitely open for more. Oh, sorry, I read that earlier. Sorry, apologies. Oh, some people are saying about the time. Yeah, there's been some debate about the actual runtime of the movie. But yeah, I don't know how long it was because I wasn't paying attention. I was just paying attention to the movie. Exit trips are going to sleep. Good night, sir. Have a good night. Okay, what else are people saying? Final battle on the 4th of July, that would be cool. In Brazil, the film was postponed so as not to compete with Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Off topic, how was Dune 2? Haven't seen it yet. Is it as good as the first? You know what, I like the first more, to be blunt. But Dune 2 is good. I felt it was a bit over long. But it's really cool. I recommend it. Joel's asking, when did I move to America and for what reason? I moved here 6 years ago for work, and I've been here ever since. You have I have my own paranormal lab. Yeah, I do. Got a lot of ghost stuff. Does the library have a decent part in the film? I'm going to answer this one. Yes, it does. Nerd Holistic says, does podcast in this film? Podcast is in the film. Podcast is great in the film. And yes, Spielberg is awesome. And it's crazy that I got to meet him. I still can't believe it. Lucky seems more involved this time around. We see her face off against Goraka in the trailer. Were you satisfied with her storyline and her involvement? Also, your merch collection looks amazing. Thank you. Lucky does have a very specific part in the film. I would say that it's probably more significant than in Afterlife. But again, she's not like a main character. but she plays a supporting role, and that supporting role is important. Astro Controller says, I'm tired. I'm tired too. I'm probably going to end this stream soon, so everyone can go to bed. Well, actually, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to edit so you guys can see what I was up to with the premiere. You get to see it. And I'm going to plug that right now. For those of you that have hung around and those of you who are new, thank you. I need to say this. Thank you for joining these streams. I super appreciate how many people join and chat with me. Thank you for that. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. There's plenty of amazing stuff on my channel, and I'm going to be publishing a complete video of everything that went down with the premiere of Frozen Empire, kind of a behind the scenes, if you like, of us taking the Ecto-1 down there, hanging out with the car, being at the firehouse, how they decorated the firehouse and made it look frozen, what happened at the Yes Have Some party with meeting some of the stars, meeting Ernie Hudson at the firehouse, McKenna podcast. There were some other really cool people there too that weren't to do with the Ghostbusters film, but were, you know, people that you will know and recognize that I was super excited to meet, that were so chill and just chat with me on my live streams. And then of course the premiere itself, the fan pen, seeing all of the stars of the movie, and my reaction to the movie in real time. So all of that's there, and if you want to see that stuff, please drop a subscription to my channel. Subscribe, hit the notify button, and you'll be notified when that stuff happens. Right, let's do some final questions then. So, do I feel that Ghostbusters 2 still being canon is genuinely important narratively, given the divisive reception? I think it's important to fans that it is, and I think that the way it's done in the movie is just right. Austin saying, I hope you enjoyed Frozen Empire, and congratulations on going to the premiere. Looking forward to seeing it. Thank you, Austin. It was a great privilege to be there. I'm super glad that that I was able to, and I'm super glad I was able to bring you guys along with me in the live streams. Retro Bro, let's go. The library is my favorite part in the video game, and finally we see New York Public Library again. Is it the New York Public Library? Yes, it is. And it features. Langdon, loved your room laboratory. Thanks, Langdon. Yeah, it's great. I mean, and that's just a tiny bit. There's a whole other room out there that is, yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'll do a whole video which is just a tour of my geekery, is what I'm going to describe it. My hall of geekery. Will I post more behind the scenes videos? So everything that I had from the filming of Frozen Empire, I have now posted. So I've done 3 videos which are just not me talking, and then 2 which are breakdowns. One which is like a more general what I did over the day, and the other is the breakdown of what we saw in the film. And what was kind of cool was that a lot of the stuff that I wasn't doing any spoilers, but what I predicted for how they pulled it together, it was kind of fun to see that and go, oh yeah, I was kind of right about what they were doing. So that was really cool. So that's great. Yeah, thanks, Langdon. I mean, I won't post any more about this, but I'm hoping to do in the future more behind the scenes videos of other movies. Zach is saying your channel has me intrigued. Consider me subscribed. Zach, thank you so much. That means a great deal. I hope you enjoy the content you see, and I'm always open to people saying, "Hey, I want to see this." So if there's content that you want to see or that you're interested in, let me know, and I'll see if I can do it. Ghost of Tennessee just subbed. Thank you, Ghost of Tennessee. I really appreciate that. Retro Bro, happy to know we see the library again. Yeah, it's cool. Nerd, I'm sorry, Nerd Holistic. I'm so sorry, man. I need some sleep, but I'm not going to get any because I'm going to be editing. And actually, I've got to drive to the city tonight to LaGuardia to put my daughter up from the airport. But anyway, it's a whole other thing. Yeah, sub. Thank you. Who is the leader in this film, Paul Rudd or Carrie? Ooh. I have to wait and see. You have to wait and see. But it's good. That combination of Paul and Carrie is good. Langdon, I'll be waiting. Love your channel. Thanks, Langdon. It's the best thing about Ghostbusters. You explain it and edit it very well. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate a lot of people have been saying how they enjoyed the way I edit stuff, and that really matters to me because I can't even tell you how exhausting sometimes it is. I want them to be right and to work, and so I put a lot of time into it. And when I hear that people like it, It means a lot. So thank you. It makes it worth it. Because sometimes you edit something and then you're like, nobody's watched it. Why did I spend all this time? So just knowing people and that some people are enjoying it is fantastic. Robert's saying, what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score would be? I don't know. I just have no faith in reviewers. I just sometimes I just so disagree with them. So I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's going to be good. Okay. Yeah, Pete's saying I've got a cool bass. Yeah, it's kind of a cool bass. Well, listen, I can't believe that we've been chatting for 134 minutes, it says here. Thank you for joining me, guys. It's been fantastic. And so thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this little community that we have of folks chatting about Ghostbusters and all things geekery, right? This is not just a Ghostbusters channel. It just so happens that we're focusing on Ghostbusters. We have a Ghostbusters takeover right now. And by the way, just because we're focusing on it now does not mean we won't focus on it in the future. There's going to be a lot more Ghostbusters stuff to come on this channel. But we're broader than that. We do all things geekery. We're going to have lots more conversations like this about other movies, other franchises. And there's some really exciting things coming up this year. You guys know that I have a relationship with the Ecto-1NJ. There are more cool cars to come this year related to movie franchises. I will just leave you there. But there's going to be some more cool stuff to see this year, I tell you. So please subscribe and you'll be notified when I broadcast again. And I am going to be, hopefully, as long as I don't fall asleep at my edit suite, posting a video about everything that happened behind the scenes on the premiere. I don't think it'll be tomorrow. I think it'll be Sunday now, based on how much I have to do. So look out for that. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. And there are more questions coming in, but I'm going to go now. But so thank you for your questions. We'll have another chat about Frozen Empire, I promise. We definitely will. And you can ask those questions again then. But for those of you that are in this hemisphere of the Earth, I wish you a good night. And for those of you that are in other hemispheres, I wish you a good morning. And for those of you that are somewhere else, a good lunchtime or a good tea time. And I say tea time because I'm British. So, that's how it goes. Thank you, explorers. Thank you for being here. I super appreciate all your questions. Thank you for those that dropped some money to me tonight. I'm signing off now. It's time to cut on the clapperboard for this evening. We'll see you another time on the live stream. Have a good evening.